Good morning and welcome to Bloom Feather Studio. I'm Lene. I thought today it'd be fun to do some roses. You guys, I have been painting roses all week long. I have so many pages and pages of them. I can show you some of them. But I arrived at this one for this tutorial. Let me show you. So one of you asked me to do something similar to this rose here. I have it on my Instagram. And some of my practice roses were this one. This looks very similar to the one we're going to do today, except I added some different versions of leaves here. Okay, and then I really like these. These were done with a dagger brush. So this brush right here, I'm going to just use a straight brush today, straight round brush. Okay. These are some of the roses I did with a dagger brush. And then these were done with a filbert brush. This is one of my favorites here. And then just one more. Okay. All right. So as far as brushes go, I have 3 brushes. The most important one, of course, is the round brush. This is the brush that we'll be using to paint the rose. You can just grab your favorite round brush that's a little bit smaller. This isn't too, it's more pointed and small. Okay, and then I discovered, I bought this a while ago. This is the dagger striper from Princeton, and it's a number 4. Wait, let me see. I think it said, oh, it's a 3/8 inch dagger striper. And I discovered that it's really fun to make rose leaves with. Of course, again, you can just use the round brush to do it. I feel like leaves are very personal. Everybody does a leaf a little bit differently, and you should do the leaves that you know best and you're most comfortable with. And then I just have a really tiny brush. This is actually a filbert, but it's super tiny. I'm going to use it to do these accented lines at the very end. For my colors, let me show you what they look like. So this one is actually a mix of mostly alizarin crimson and with the teeniest bit of purple and a tiny dot also of hooker green. So I will show you this as we paint. So here's what it looks like. The reason I'm using alizarin crimson is because I love how it breaks when you use a dry brush. So you see these broken brush strokes here. And I also like how when it gets pale, it's really pretty. So let me show you up close. And also the dark is kind of dramatic. And then for the leaves, I use a mix. I have a little bit of this color in the leaves, but mostly hooker green and with a little bit of lemon yellow. Okay, so let's get started. Roses, I find, are one of those tricky flowers that you think of them as round, but there's also a bunch of angles in there. So for this rose here, let me show you up close. For this rose, we kind of start with the circular part, but then we very quickly are going to go into like this V shape here. Okay, and then we'll drop in those petals that are facing out and have fallen. Okay, all right, let's mix up some color. So I'm going to start with this alizarin crimson, put some on here, quite a bit of it. And I'm going to put a really thick amount of paint in here. Okay, now I'm going to add just a little bit of purple. And a little bit of hooker green to get a nice dark color. Let's see if this is right. Yeah, it's very red. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit more of the purple and a little bit of hooker green. There we go. There we go. Okay. Nice dark color. See how it. Okay, it's going to dry darker. Okay, so there's our red color, our pink color. Okay, and then next I'm going to put some hooker green on here. Maybe right here. Nice bit of hooker green. I'm going to also put in just the tiniest bit of this color here. Oops. Ooh, I'm going to splash onto my, I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay. And then put a little more green in here. And then put some yellow on here as well. A little bit of yellow. Let me test out the green. Yeah, so it's nice dark dramatic green, but then when you add the yellow to it, cheers it up. Okay. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to get a nice dark amount of the red. And I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to make a round shape for the center. It's okay. You kind of want it to break. And in order to break it, you kind of have to use you do have to use your flat brush. So see how I'm using my flat brush, and I'm going to come around like this. Okay. And then I'm going to add some lines coming around here. And then fairly quickly, I'm going to add some yellow to the middle. It's already kind of dry, but I like to add yellow to the middle. I'm going to add a little water to that. Clean off my brush. Kind of tap it in there a little bit more. Take out some of the water. Okay, so that's my middle. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, so I'm going to get some lighter or some more watery red and kind of start making a V shape here. Okay, so while I do this, I really want to pay attention to my white space, because the white space is important with this. So I made a V like this, and then I'm going to come around to the side, but we don't want to go too wide on the side. We really want to keep it more narrow on the sides. So I'm adding really light strokes here. And then I'm really going to make it into a V shape here. So come here like this. And I'm watching my white space, making sure there's not too much there. And then I'm going to come in with some really dark. So I'm actually going to mix up some really dark, I'll show you, some really dark, thick paint quickly. And I'm going to come in with it and add it to the V shape. Just at the bottom. So anywhere where you see that it's still wet, you can play with, but once it starts to dry and it's not super wet, it's best just to leave it alone. Okay, now I'm gonna do the bottom petals here. So I'm gonna get a nice watery mix for the bottom petals. So really watery. I'm gonna start with this petal here. Okay, so I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna put a petal kind of heart-shaped or teardrop-shaped petal right here. Okay, and then I'm going to come in and add a little bit more color to the top of it, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to add another petal going this way here. So I'm going to start out here so I know what my white space is going to look like, and then I'm just going to pull it out this way. Each rose looks a little bit different. Okay, and then I'm going to leave that, or actually I'm going to add a little color to this too, right here. Okay, and now I want to add a little more something here. So again, white space, maybe like that. So I went with the side of my brush here and I got a really nice broken stroke. You can see that. You see that? That always adds a lot of character, so I love it when it does that. And I'm gonna add a little space here. You know what? I'm gonna change my mind. Take that out because you don't want it to get too wide. I'm gonna take that out. Okay, let's see what we have here. So I'm just gonna leave this right now. Actually, yeah, and I'm gonna start doing leaves because I love when the color just bleeds like here. It kind of bleeds out into the leaves. So I'm gonna grab my dagger brush. You can use whatever brush you want. Grab my dagger brush, get some dark green on it, okay? And then not too much. And then I'm doing, just at the tip, I'm gonna add some yellow at the tip of it, okay? And then I like to do like 3 sets, 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna come here first at the bottom of this, and I'm gonna put some leaves here. So it bleeds out nicely. Okay, and then I'm gonna just dab it with a little bit of water and put another one facing this way. And then I'm gonna encourage a little bit of pink by just dabbing in some pink here. Just maybe right there. Okay, and then one more leaf, maybe right here. Ooh, and I got some nice broken brush stroke there that I really like. So, after I do this, I'll show you a little bit more how I do the leaves. It's just a timing thing. You really want to do it while everything's wet. And most of this is dry now, so I kind of lost that. So let me show you. Since this is pretty much dry, it's not gonna bleed anymore. So let me show you how I do a leaf. So I showed you how I put some green, here, I'll show you. Move this out of the way. So how I put, oops, this is all running together. How I put some green here, right, on the whole. I'm going to get some more green because it ran together. Okay, so I get some green on the whole leaf and then just put yellow at the tip like this, okay? And let me show you how I do. So I put the dagger brush kind of to the side and I do a stroke like this and a stroke like that, like this. Stroke here and then kind of just bounce it, and then a stroke here and then bounce it. So you don't have to do it this way. There are other ways to do it. If you have a dagger brush, of course you can do it any way you want, but let me show you a little bit different version. You can go like this and then like this for a softer look. I suppose you could go all the way down like that. But then you may as well just use your round brush for that. But I like doing it this way because it kind of mimics the veins of the rose. Okay, all right, so coming back here, we've done one set here, and then you just get some more green. And yellow. So I'm gonna do like another set, maybe right here. So that one's brighter. So I'm gonna rinse off my brush, get a little yellow, and do the other side. Okay. And then because this has dried already, I'm just gonna dab in a little bit of red. Let me get a little red. So it looks like it's bleeding into it. Okay, and then another leaf. Let's do another leaf here. Maybe I want it to soften a little bit, so I'm gonna put a little water here, soften it up. And then add a little pink to it. Let it run. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a little bit more of a yellow one. Maybe coming this way. Okay. Add a little pink to that. Let it run. Okay, and then, so I've got 1, 2, I'm gonna put another one over here. Soften it up. Add some pink. Let's put one here. some yellow or some pink in there. I'm gonna just dab this out a little bit over here. There we go. Okay, and then let's do, I'm gonna do like a pinker one here. Put a little green in there. Okay. And then I know I said I want to do 3, but I think we need something here. So I'm going to do some more leaves, a couple leaves here. I'm going to do another pink leaf with a little yellow at the end, right here. That needs a little green. Okay. And then soften it up a little bit. Just gonna dab it. There we go. And let's see. Another one here further out. Let's see, let me look at it. Okay. Now let's go back to the rose. I'm going to clean off my brush, my round brush. I'm just going to get a little bit of color. And what I want to do is I want to have like a really broken stroke. So that's too dry. So you want to go for something like that. And I'm just going to go around this a little bit more. It's not very broken, but that's okay. And felt like I needed just a little bit more here. Your rose is probably a little bit different than mine. So just look at the rose and see if you need any more texture on it. Okay, now I'm going to take my tiny, tiny brush. Where did it go? I'm going to load it up with a lot of color. So we're going to do, you see how I put just a few strokes of dark color just to accentuate the shape of the flower. And yours is going to be a little bit different than mine. I really like to accentuate the V shape here. So I did stroke here, and then as it gets rounder up here, and I like to add a few strokes here at the top. So every flower is different though. So just look at your flower and see, make sure it's all dry first. So I should probably check mine too. There's no shine. So I'm just gonna grab some dark color, as dark as I can get it. Let me see. Here, let me just see how dark this is. Yeah, see how dark that is? So you want to grab dark, dark color that can go over your color that's already there. Okay. So I'm going to add a stroke here. And then here. I do it really fast. I don't know why. I think it makes it look more natural. And then one up here, maybe. So not too many, just a few. I think I'm gonna leave that. I might come back later and add a few more, but I have definitely made the mistake of adding too many. So I'm just gonna leave it. Usually I don't touch these bottom petals once they're done. I'm gonna add one here. Okay, I'm gonna leave it because otherwise I'm gonna ruin it. Okay, so here it is. The final rose. Thank you so much for watching and for subscribing. Send me a message with any questions you might have. You can comment below, or you can post it on Instagram. You can tag me if you want me to see your finished rose. Thank you so much again for liking and for subscribing. Have a great day and happy painting. Bye-bye.